Hey guys, what's up? Eli here. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to manage cash flow with your e-commerce business. What we're going to cover in this training, what is cash flow, why cash flow is king, some cash flow examples, why scaling fast isn't always a good thing, and some cash flow management tips. So what exactly is cash flow? Well, cash flow is the amount of cash being transferred into and out of the business. E-commerce is a very cash flow intensive business model. On any one day, you can easily have $3,000 being spent and $10,000 coming back in. It is important to have more money coming in than money going out, so profit and loss, but it's equally as important that you have cash coming in at the right times in order to pay for expenses. So with e-commerce, the main expenses and the expenses that we're going to really be focusing on in this video are your cost of goods and your ad spend. Now, why is cash flow king? So I need you to understand this, that it is possible to be profitable with a negative cash flow. So you can be making profit, but you can also have a negative cash flow. It's also possible to be unprofitable with a negative cash flow. Both of these will kill your business. You must be profitable with a positive cash flow in order to be successful and sustainable with your e-commerce business. So I've got a couple of examples that I want to go through to really highlight that point. So for example, you can be spending $1,000 per day and make back $3,000 per day. Okay, so you're profitable, things are looking good, but this is where it gets interesting and a bit tricky. Depending on where you live in the world, it can take between 2 to 7 days to receive that $3,000 that you've made. Okay, but you still have to spend that $1,000. Whether that's, $700 on ad spend, $300 cost of goods, whatever, you've still spent $1,000 and you've made $3,000, but you have to wait between 2 and 7 days in most countries to receive that $3,000 back into your account. So what this means is that if it takes 7 days to recoup that $3,000 and you're spending $1,000 each day on ads and product costs, that means over a week's time before you get that $3,000 back, you are going to be $7,000 in the hole. Okay, you have to spend $1,000 a day. If you're waiting 7 days to get that first $3,000 back, you're spending $7,000 in ad spend and cost of goods. Okay, so in this case, you need to have at least $7,000 in your bank account if it takes you 7 days to get that money back. And $1,000 a day on Facebook ads, honestly, guys, that's really not that hard to do, okay? So this is a second example. So it's very easy to spend $1,000 per day on Facebook. In this example, let's imagine that things are going well and we've scaled our store up to $5,000 per day in spend. So we're spending $5,000 a day now to make back $10,000, which is fantastic. But this also comes with a few problems and implications. Okay, some good problems, but they're still problems nonetheless. If you have a 2-day turnaround, you're going to need, because we're spending $5,000 per day on Facebook, you're going to need a minimum of $10,000 in your bank account. But if you have a 7-day turnaround period, you're going to need $35,000 in your bank account if you're spending $5,000 per day on Facebook ads. Okay, so this is really, it's not until you start kind of doing these numbers that you understand the importance of cash flow. Okay, when I first started spending $5,000 per day on Facebook ads, where I'm in Australia, I have a 2-day turnaround, 2 to 3 day turnaround, so it's not too bad. But $15,000 was coming out before I was seeing any money coming back in. Okay, so it's super important, because if you don't have cash in the bank, you can run into some problems where you're not able to pay for your ads, you're not able to fulfill on your orders. There can be some problems. Okay, so you need to make sure you have a positive cash flow, not just profit, positive cash flow, super important. So this is what I want to talk about, why scaling fast isn't a good thing. Okay, so if you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of cash in the bank, I don't recommend scaling fast, okay? Most people, when they're starting out, most people are worried about the budget that they have. Most people have $1,000, $2,000 to start on Facebook. But if you're spending, $1,000 to $5,000 a day on Facebook ads, you started, something's going right, and you're just scaling because that's what you've seen the gurus on Facebook are doing. You really need to have some cash in the bank. You need to have, if you're spending $1,000 to $5,000 a day, you need to have $10,000 to $40,000, depending where you live, in the bank. Because, like I said, I'm in Australia and I have between a 2 to 3 day turnaround. That's $10,000, $15,000 that was coming out of my bank account before I was getting any money coming back in. So it was really important that I had built up some cash reserves that I could draw on to get me through those times, okay? Or alternatively, you can have a credit card with a very high limit or an uncapped limit to get you through, to float you during that turnaround window. I didn't start off with a credit card, but that's an option when you're starting as well. While scaling hard is sexy and it's cool, the truth is, if you don't have cash reserves, you can run into lots of problems. PayPal, Shopify payments, Stripe, all the payment processors can easily put holds, and commonly put holds, on people's account. Okay, so if you're running $1,000 to $5,000 ad spend a day, or whatever you're running, and all of a sudden you get slapped with a 30 to 50% hold, which means say you spend $1,000, you make $3,000, but they keep $1,500, you're going to have some serious cash flow issues, okay? Like, those holds seriously cripple people, especially people who are starting out and they don't have either credit cards or their own cash reserves to draw from. PayPal holds, Shopify holds seriously can kill a business really quickly, okay? With even if they're profitable, those holds can push you into a negative cash flow cycle and really cripple your business very quickly, okay? So that's why I recommend scaling slowly if you're just starting out and you don't have cash reserves or a high credit card to float you, okay? While it's sexy, it's honestly not the smartest move if you don't have a lot of cash in the bank or ways to access a lot of cash. So here's some cash flow tips. Like I said, if you're just starting out, scale slowly, then reinvest the profits that you do make, build up some cash reserves, build up your bank balance, then you can be in a position to scale fast, okay? But build up that reserve and then you can do it. Realize that the people on YouTube, the people that, post the crazy videos of how fast they've scaled, understand they do it for likes and subscribes. They've been doing it for a while, and these people usually have quite a good cash reserve to draw from that allows them to do it, okay? You can't go from $0 to $10,000 overnight if you don't have like $30,000, $40,000 sitting in the bank that can float you through those periods, okay? Another tip is to get a card with a high limit. I did mention this before, and you can use that card to float you during that turnaround window. Try and look for some different card options. There are some good ones. I'm not going to go into it in this video. Have a look, explore your options when it comes to getting credit cards. You can get ones that have pretty good bonuses that can work well with e-commerce, and just use that card to float you during the turnaround window, okay? That way you're not going to run into those cash flow problems. So moving forward, guys, if you got some value from this video, please give it a like, a comment, and a subscribe. It really means the world to me and it really helps out the channel. Come and join the e-commerce revolution Facebook group. The link is in the description, and if you haven't, check out the quick start pack. It's a really affordable pack that I put together, and it's designed to save you a lot of time, energy, and money. The link for that is in the description down below as well. And that's it for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.